You gotta practice your throws. You gotta practice your swings. You gotta practice your catches if you wanna be on this team. Practice, practice, practice. You got game, now work it. Practice, practice, practice. Perfect practice makes perfect.
In order to be a great hitter, I have to be willing to practice, even when I don't feel like it. That's something I learned from Coach Threads. Whenever he notices one of his players slacking, he doesn't hesitate to remind them, perfect practice makes perfect. I'm Tony, the designated hitter, and mine is the final book in the Threads and Friends series. I'm honored to be here to read along with you as we wrap up our life skills program with a very important lesson on discipline.
Practice, practice, practice. You got game, now work it. Practice, practice, practice. Perfect practice makes perfect.
The All-Stars were playing the Wildcats one sunny Saturday afternoon. They played the Wildcats before and usually beat them, but this game was especially tough because the Wildcats had been really good players this season. It was the bottom of the 6th inning, and Tony, the designated hitter for the All-Stars, stepped up to the plate. The Wildcats pitcher threw him a curveball. Tony hit it hard and the ball sailed into left field, past the glove of the Wildcats left fielder. Kathy, the catcher, was on third base, and Tony's hit was enough for her to run home and tie up the game. In the 7th inning, the Wildcats scored another run. In the bottom of the 7th inning, Tony hit another ball into left field, but the Wildcats caught it before he could get on base. 2 outs later, the All-Stars had lost to the Wildcats. The entire All-Stars team was sad about losing, but Coach Threads gave them a pep talk. "I know losing is tough," he said, "but we've had a great season. We still have a chance to go to the championship game, so be sure to keep practicing and trying your best. I'm going to have an extra practice tomorrow for anyone who wants to come." The other All-Stars said they would be there on Sunday, but Tony didn't want to go. He was supposed to go to the movies tonight with his family, and he didn't want to get up early Sunday morning. When his alarm clock went off on Sunday, Tony turned it off and went back to sleep, missing the extra practice. The next week, he skipped practice twice. He had to stay after school to work on a science project one day. Another day, he was invited to go to his cousin's pool, and that sounded way more fun than baseball practice. Besides, Tony thought, he had hit the ball really well all season. He didn't need to practice more, not like everyone else. At practice that weekend, though, Tony didn't hit as far or as well as usual. He hit several foul balls and a couple of grounders that were easily fielded by his team. He walked off the field, feeling a little dejected. He put his batter helmet on the bench in the dugout. "Tony, what's going on?" Coach Threads asked. "You're usually a great hitter." "I guess I'm just having a bad day," Tony said as he sat on the bench. Coach Threads nodded. "We all have bad days sometimes, but you also missed the last few practices. Were you sick?" Tony had trouble looking Coach Threads in the eye. "I wasn't sick. I didn't feel like practicing. I've been hitting really well all season." "That's because you've gone to practice." Coach Threads sat down beside Tony on the bench. "We practice a lot because perfect practice makes perfect. Being a great baseball player is about having the discipline to go to practice, even when you don't feel like it." "I guess you're right, Coach," Tony said. He thought about how his friends on the team had come to every practice. All of them seemed to be doing really well today. Coach Threads handed Tony the batter helmet. "We have the championship game coming up next weekend. We all need to be at our best if we want to beat the Wildcats." Practice ended a few minutes later. Tony walked home with Pedro the pitcher. "Coach says I need to practice more," Tony said. "I thought I was hitting really well and didn't need to keep practicing." As he walked, Pedro tossed a baseball between his hand and his glove. "I think we all need to go to practice. Even when I'm pitching really well, I can forget all the things I'm supposed to do if I don't practice." "There is a lot to think about when I'm hitting," Tony said. "I have to get in the right stance and hold the bat just right." They had reached Pedro's house. He waved at his mother, who was gardening in the front yard. "I have to go home. But if you want to do some extra practicing, I can get there early tomorrow and pitch to you." "You'd do extra practice?" Tony asked. He was surprised anyone would want to do more practice than they had to. Pedro nodded. "As Coach says, perfect practice makes perfect. If we're going to beat the Wildcats, we have to be as perfect as possible." Tony's alarm went off super early the next morning. He really wanted to sleep in, but he thought about how Pedro was counting on him and how much they all wanted to beat the Wildcats. He got up, got dressed, and arrived at practice early enough to work with Pedro and perfect his stance for hitting. Tony went to every practice that week and made sure to pay extra attention to what Coach Threads taught them. With every practice, Tony was hitting better than ever before. The following Saturday was the championship game. The All-Stars were nervous, but Tony was confident. He knew they had all practiced a lot, and the team was ready. The game was close all the way until the 7th inning. In the top of the 7th, the Wildcats were 1 run ahead. When Tony got up to bat, all the bases were loaded. The team needed 2 runs to win. Tony thought about how badly he had been hitting a couple weeks ago, and for a second, he worried he would let his team down. He looked over at Coach Threads, who gave him a thumbs up. Tony took a deep breath and remembered everything he had learned about being a good designated hitter. The Wildcats pitcher threw a curveball. Tony swung and missed. "Strike 1," the umpire shouted. The Wildcats pitcher tried a fastball this time. Tony swung and missed again. "Strike 2," the umpire shouted. Tony shifted his stance, put the bat on his shoulder, then lifted it and put it back again, just as he had done at practice. The Wildcats pitcher wound up his arm and threw a changeup. Tony concentrated and swung as hard as he could. Crack! He hit the ball and watched it sail far into the outfield. The Wildcats tried to catch it, but they missed. Tony started running toward first base, and he made it. He saw all 3 of the All-Stars who were on base run to home plate as fast as they could, so Tony decided to make a run for second base. The Wildcats left fielder picked up the ball and tossed it to second base, tagging Tony out. That was okay, because the All-Stars had just won the championship game. Tony came in from the field and hugged his teammates. He made sure to congratulate Pedro, Kathy, Freddie, Sam, Samantha, Gary, Louie, Chen, and Rita. "You guys were awesome," Tony said as he gave his friends a high five. A few minutes later, Coach Threads gathered the players in the locker room. "We had a great season, and I'm so proud of all of you." Coach Threads smiled at the team. "Do you know why I named this team the All-Stars?" The players shook their heads. "I chose All-Stars for the name because I knew that every single one of you could be a star if you worked hard and tried your best. And together, we are." "A great team!" all of the All-Stars shouted. They went home that day with happy smiles on their faces. Baseball season was over for now, but the All-Stars knew that because of baseball, they had learned lessons that would stay with them for life. The learning doesn't stop here. You will need to work on perfecting each of the skills the All-Stars have shown you. It's the only way you're going to get better at anything you do. Practice, practice, practice. To be the best that you can be. As a student, as an athlete, as a person.
You gotta practice your throws, you gotta practice your swings, you gotta practice your catches if you wanna be on this team.